Hey, what's up everybody? Tyler here from Super Squad D, where the D stands for Dynamic Range. No, I'm not talking about tech stuff. Today, I'm talking about my hardcover and omnibus collection. I have never done a collection video, and that's partially because my collection's kind of scattered. Right now, I've got it in 3 separate places, but I thought it would be kind of fun to show off my collection. It's not super massive, but I'm very proud of it. Yippee! So I'm going to show you my books, talk about what my favorites are, what I have read, what I haven't read, and kind of just give you my overall opinions. So starting off on the top shelf, we got Alias, which I have not read, Annihilation, which I have read and very much enjoyed, but I have not read Conquest or any of the other books that followed after it. Next up, we got the Busek Avengers, which I read part of those runs when they came out when I was a kid, but I have not finished it. The New Avengers I've read and very much enjoyed it, as well as Uncanny Avengers, which I felt like was kind of hit and miss. I'm very proud of this Captain America collection right here. I've got the last few at my office, which we're going to get to later, but I have read only the first omnibus and absolutely loved it. Like, could not put it down. Next up, we got my Daredevil collection. I've got Volume 2 of Bendis. I am seriously counting on a Volume 1 reprint, which I do believe will happen next year. I've not seen that anywhere, but I'm just counting on it. I got Brubaker Volume 2, Mark Waid Volume 1. I wonder if I have 2 Mark Waid Volume 1s. Now that I think about it, I might. No, I don't think I do. I hope I don't. But I've got Brubaker Volume 1 somewhere, just not here. I think it's at my office. Hopefully, we'll find out later. And then, of course, the ugly, ugly spined Miller Daredevils, which is why I've got this Deadpool covering them up, because I just cannot stand to look at them on my shelf like that. It really, really bothers me. Coming on down, this is my Deadpool area where Deadpool is conveniently playing, I believe this is Street Fighter Cross Tekken, yep. So here we've got the Deadpool Minibus and the Minibus 2, Deadpool and Cable, Deadpool by Dugan and Posh, which I have read some of, and then Deadpool by Joe Kelly, which I've also read some of. I haven't read the other books, but they are on my list. Doctor Strange, Omnibus Volume 1. I loved that omnibus. I really, really enjoyed it. So grateful for that one. And then we got a Fantastic Four run over here. I've not read any of the Stan Lee or Jack Kirby, and I've read parts of the John Byrne Fantastic Four, but not all of those runs. So here we got the Hickman Fantastic Four. I got this Volume 1 from somebody in our Facebook group that I'm greatly, greatly thankful for. Have yet to read the Hickman series of Fantastic Four. I've heard they're fantastic. And then I got the, I don't even remember, I know it's Fraction. I don't remember if he wrote the whole thing, but I got his Fantastic Four, which I've obviously not read. I've not read a lot of what we're seeing here. Hawkeye, love it. Absolutely love it. Cannot get enough of it. One of my favorite reads of the past decade, for certain. Down here we got Infinity Gauntlet, read that, loved it. Iron Fist, in my top 5 favorite Marvel omnibus that I own. I just love the story, love the artwork, and it made me fall in love with the character of Iron Fist. Ms. Marvel I read and I enjoyed. Shang-Chi I've read part of, but not all of. Here's 1, 2, and 3. 4 will make an appearance later. This Marvel Oz omnibus I got on clearance, and I got it solely for the purpose of reading it to my daughter when she gets older. So that's pretty cool. Punisher Max, on the other hand, I will not be reading to my daughter, no matter how old she gets. Secret Warriors, loved that book. That was my first introduction to Jonathan Hickman, and I just was totally blown away. Very, very underrated book. Foes of Spider-Man, haven't read. And then here's the Spider-Man stuff. This was the second omnibus I ever got, the Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2, which I think has been reprinted now. I can't recall. But I think I have all of the Spider-Man omnis, if not all of them, very close to all of them. I know I don't have Death of the Ultimate Spider-Man, but great. I've read this, I've read that. I've read a good bit of the Spider-Man. Here we drop down to the next shelf where we got the Clone Saga, which I've read all of, and I actually enjoyed it, but I read it when it came out, so I liked it then. Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, huge fan of. That omnibus in particular is fantastic. I certainly wish they would release another one. The Mighty Thor by Walt Simonson. That was, I think, the third omnibus I ever got. I don't think it was the first, but my friend told me about it and I was like, okay, I gotta get it. And I remember searching for that book. It was already out of print at the time, but just barely. This was a few years back, and I found it on a trip to Chicago in a store, and I was so happy to buy it. Straczynski Thor, haven't read. I am working my way through Heroes Returns Thor. And we got the Wolverine stuff and the X-Men stuff here with Wolverine on his little motorcycle, which is pretty dope. Old Man Logan. But Miller's Wolverine I've read. Jason Aaron's Wolverine I've read. And then Claremont X-Men, I've read Volume 1, but I have yet to start Volume 2 or 3. Same with Age of Apocalypse, I've not read. And then Jim Lee's X-Men, I've read Volume 1, but not 2. I planned on doing a big X-Men read-through, and then man, it took me forever to get through Claremont's Volume 1, so I kind of took a pause on that. Down here on the bottom shelf, we've got Ecstatics, which I have not read. We've got New X-Men by Morrison, which is fantastic. Zoe, get back. Down here on the bottom shelf, we've got Would you go right down, dog? Down here on the bottom shelf, we got Ecstatic, which I've yet to read. New X-Men by Morrison, which I read when it came out, as well as Astonishing, I read when it came out. Uncanny X-Force by Remender. Amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing. Gotta love it. There it is. And then Wolverine and the X-Men, which I felt like was one of the most fun modern X-Men runs. I really enjoyed that. Flash by Johns, I've read all of Volume 1 and a little bit of Volume 2, though it's still sealed. I had some of the issues on digital form. And then over to the Green Lanterns, I've read Volume 1, and I have yet to read 2 or 3, though I loved Volume 1. Finally, Teen Titans. I read it all when it came out. I got it monthly, but I haven't read it since then, and I'm looking forward to doing a big read-through, but man, is that book huge, thick. Anyway, one last book on this shelf that I almost forgot to mention. My favorite book of all. The pride of my entire collection, Usagi Hardcover 1. Cannot tell you how much I love that book. One of my friends found that for me for $80 at the beginning of the year, and it made my year. Absolutely love it. I read it, just the first volume, and I can't get enough of it. Anyway, let's head on over to the other section in this office at my home and see what books we got. Whoosh! Here we go. I'm gonna move this bad boy out of the way. Jabba Sail Barge, pretty dope. Starting off strong over here, Gotham Central, haven't read it, heard good things about it. Neil Adams' Batman, enjoyed some of Neil Adams stuff. This is the Behemoth himself. I got that Behemoth for Undercover maybe 6 or 8 months ago off of eBay. Total steal of a deal. Haven't read it, and I'm honestly kind of scared to because of how thick it is. I don't want it to break. Same with the new 52 Omnibus. It's on my list of things to read, but so is everything else. Turtles, again, haven't read it, but very high on my list of things to read. I've heard nothing but good stuff about that series, and I can't wait to get into it. Planetary, a modern classic. Read it, loved it, can't get enough of it. Animal Man by Grant Morrison. I know this is just going to tick a lot of people off, but I just wasn't blown away by it. I didn't think it was that great. I only made it through about half of the omnibus when I was like, all right, I'm going to take a break, come back to this. Maybe I wasn't in the right mindset, I don't know. Manhattan Projects 1 and 2 and East of West Year 1, followed by the Brubaker stuff. I've got Incognito at my actual office, where we are going to head in just a second. These books right here I loved. These are Barona's War, and I believe they were done by a local artist here in Mississippi, which is why I picked them up. And I really think they're fantastic. Let me see if I can just find, look at that artwork. Look how great that is. They're small books, but I really enjoy them. Enjoy the artwork, enjoy everything about them. All right, let's head on over to my actual office where we will look at the rest of my collection.
3 hours later.
We have now officially made it to the office. Here's the collection, and let's just dive right in. So first we got Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3, You know, a lot of these I still haven't read. A lot of these I ended up picking up from the Marvel clearance sale. Haven't read these, but they're on my list. I know they're not super great, but I do really want to get into them. This Loki is super on my list of things to get as well. Then the Realm of Kings and War of Kings saga right here. Here's the bookcase that I built, the plans that were drawn for it by my friend. Set that right over there. And I tried to put these kind of in like color order over here. I don't know. They're not in alphabetical order like they are on the other bookshelf. Wade, Daredevil, Hickman Avengers, and this Thor Heroes Return, which I highly recommend. If you haven't seen my review of it, check it out. Next shelf down here, we got the tax guide. Don't read that, it's lame. Then the Teen Titans, which I picked up, the original printings, maybe about 6 months or so ago. I really, really love that series. I think I've read the first 2, but I haven't read the 3rd. And then the Runaways, they're super classic, love it. Kind of excited about the new Hulu series. We'll see how it turns out, but the casting looks good. You know, we got a good bit of these small Superman books. I went through a little period where I wanted to read the best Superman material out there, and that was what was recommended to me. And I gotta say, out of the 3 of these, probably probably Secret Identity was my favorite, but I did love For All Seasons End too. They're all really good. Next up, we got Civil War. You know, just some one-shots. This NYX I found in a bookstore for 20% off cover not long ago. Incognito, picked that up off of In Stock Trades. They just got more in recently. These turtles, I hate that they're as tall as they are because I really like the size. Like, size matters. Remember we talked about that? Size totally matters. But, man, the works are so good. I absolutely love the colored shots. I haven't read all of them, but I'm making my way through. Then just here's some other random stuff. The nice little new Usagi figure that's so hard to find. So happy to have that. And then the first volume of Incredible Hulk that somebody found for me. And the Punisher Garth Ennis reprint. And finally, down here on the bottom, we have Black Mirror and Rising Stars, courtesy of Jess Bragg recently. If you haven't checked out his channel, you got to go check out the Omni Dog. He does some great stuff. Then we got the Justice League International, which is maybe next on my list of things to read after I finish this little Marvel stint that I'm working on. There's my Shang-Chi right there that goes with the others back at my house. Alpha Flight. The only thing I don't really like about this Alpha Flight book is it's so weird that it curves so much. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it curves out so much, which is kind of annoying. I don't know why it bothers me, but it does. Then the recently released Planet Hulk and World War Hulk. Those are on my list of things to read. Maybe not super soon. Got this beautiful Megazord pop here. And then Elektra, which I get harassed by some of my friends all the time about the fact that I bought because it was way overpriced for the page count, but I like it. Some normal size hardcovers here. I really love all the Usagi series. I have only made it through the first one, but I will slowly but surely make it through. And then capping it off on the end there, I don't know if you can tell, is the black edition of Rachel Rising, which is amazing. So there you have it, guys. That is my whole hardcover and omnibus collection as of October 2017. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have questions about any of the books you saw, you want to see some interiors, or you want to get my reviews, let me know. I'm happy to answer them. Thanks for checking this out. This is Super Squad D. If you haven't done it already, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Yippee!